Hi, I'm Sherry DeCrenza. I'm with the West Volusia Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're so glad to have this opportunity with the City of Deltona to tell you a little bit more about our Chamber of Commerce. Today I have two guests. I'm going to let them introduce themselves if you'd like to go ahead.
I'm Laura with Alternate Design Plumbing.
And I'm Kayla Ferriero with Sunsure Insurance Solutions.
Thank you. So the Chamber started 10 years ago, and this coming January is going to be our 10-year anniversary, and we're super excited. And I thought, wouldn't it be really neat to bring in a couple business people from the Deltona, Orange City area and talk about how they've seen the growth of the Chamber and business over the years. So I'm going to start with Laura Engstrom because she is one of the original people who helped start the Chamber. And then I'm going to go to Kayla, and I'm going to talk about, with Kayla being a little younger in business, how it's helped her business. So Laura, would you like to talk about the Chamber and how your business has succeeded because of it?
Absolutely. We have been in business as a licensed plumbing contractor since 1994, serving the Deltona area and most of Volusia County and Seminole County. So we've watched not only the community grow exponentially with the homes that have been built, but additionally we've seen the number of businesses that have moved in to serve the needs of the community, the products and services that are required. So watching the Chamber jump in and create a very welcoming and gracious environment where those business owners can get to know each other, not just as fellow community members, but also as fellow business people working together so that we all work toward the greater good of bringing the right businesses and products and services into the community. It's been an exciting growth. These 10 years have been especially exciting because of the difficulties with the economy across the country. It really helped keep a lot of people anchored and actually help them survive through the rougher times that we experienced here.
Absolutely. And you were one of the key people who helped start the Chamber. You know, I remember when I started working for the Chamber and I heard this story and I thought, how does one go about starting a Chamber of Commerce? And basically, it was a couple of networking groups came together. Am I correct?
You are. It was actually, ironically, it was the corporation of the Deltona Chamber of Commerce that we ended up starting out and used that as the entity. And then there was an organization called the West Volusia Business Connection, which was more of a pay-as-you-go. So everybody that was involved just came when they could come and paid $5 and you could attend and go to pretty much anything. But it wasn't as all-encompassing as what a chamber was. It was really more focused on networking. So once we put the heads together and actually realized, okay, a Chamber of Commerce is a little more than just networking. We're supposed to do things collectively for the greater good of the community. We need to be more conscious and aware of other outside influences that affect the community. So we had some learning to do. So we learned as we went, but we did have the foundation of some of the folks that had been part of the Deltona Chamber who had gotten it launched and were struggling a little bit. So we kind of infused the people into it, and then we ran with it and we rebranded it. And by rebranding it, our focus was realizing that as business people, geographically, we were not bound by the parameters of a city limit. We all were doing businesses in all the communities. So by becoming regional, we were able to create kind of a downtown feeling where all the cities, all of us worked together as a business group, and so no one was any more or less important than another, and we could all help build each other's businesses and sustain and support each other.
Absolutely. And the last segment we did, we talked about, they brought up the analogy you had made where the city of Deltona is such a large city, but it doesn't have a true downtown, and how you had made the comment at the Gateway Center every Tuesday morning we meet for our AM connection, and it's 7:30 to 9 if you'd like to come out. And that is our downtown. And that's where, as business people, we get to meet and get qualified leads from each other. And you know, there's nothing more important than word of mouth advertising. It's really your least expensive type of advertising you'll do. Getting professionals to learn your company and know, and getting the referrals, right? And with that, I want to lead into Kayla. You were this week, you said this has been one of your most successful years. So tell us more about your company and how you got started and what the Chamber's done for you.
Very good. So our company, Sunsure Insurance, is a local and family-owned business. We represent Florida Blue and Florida Healthcare Plans, health insurance. My father actually in 2007 started his business out of his home in Deltona. And he did join the chamber back then when it was just beginning as well. At that time, I was 14 years old, and the only involvement I had was passing out flyers with my dad. So we would go up and down all the different major roads in Deltona and Orange City and DeLand. And when I say we were passing out flyers, I mean my dad was stopping at the beginning of the plaza, gave me a stack of flyers and said, "I'll meet you at the end." Yeah. So I got to go in and hand out flyers and introduce myself in the business. As time went on, when I was old enough, I did get my insurance license, and I started going to the chamber. And for me, as a very young, I was like 21 maybe, for me just getting into business, coming to the chamber was very nerve-wracking. So talking to all of these business professionals that have been in business for years, that have been networking with each other for years, it was scary. But as I built my experience in the industry and built my own book of business, coming to the chamber and making these connections and building these relationships, not only did I build my book of business, but I built friendships and I've built really good business connections with everybody at the chamber. And it really has taught me a lot about, one, being a professional, because being a professional, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It's all the same premise and basis and guidelines, no matter what you sell or what service you provide. Absolutely. So being able to take a little bit from everybody that I've interacted with at the chamber, I've been able to really figure out what works for me and what works for my business. And I really got a lot of referrals this year from the chamber, and I'm very grateful for the relationships and connections that I've made being at the chamber.
And I have to add right here and now, her dad, Vincent, was in another networking group, the West Volusia Business Professionals, which was the very first networking group that I got involved with my plumbing company. And it was an exclusive group. So he was the only insurance agent, I was the only plumber, etc. And her dad was a part of watching us merge organizations. And he got involved with the West Volusia Business Connection. And then when we got the chamber going, her dad used to come to the meetings. And then over the years, as he added more agents, he was always harping. And you, Kayla, have by far been the most diligent about understanding the value of coming to the chamber meetings and making sure that it's working for you. Yeah. So you're making him proud, I'm sure.
And I was going to bring that up because we talk about this during AM Connection. And recently, as I'm making sales calls and trying to bring on new businesses, they're like, well, what's the value of the chamber? So I try to tell people, a lot of times if people are Googling, they're looking for that BBB rating to make sure this is a real company, to make sure it's legit and all of that. And I try and explain to them, it kind of goes side and side. If you have that Chamber of Commerce sticker, membership, people consider you to have value, consider you to be of high integrity. And with that said, though, I said, you get out of it what you put into it. And we talk about this every Tuesday morning. And that's what you're saying with Kayla. You continue to come. It doesn't happen overnight. Just like if you and I met somewhere and then I didn't see you for months, we're not going to build that friendship unless we get to see each other, right? And it's the same way in business. So you have to come and you have to put in the work. I mean, for an hour to an hour and a half, you're meeting people, you're getting leads, you're getting qualified leads, because these are other business people who are going to give you what they've learned that you need. So the chamber is such a great way to get to know people. And I can understand, I know when I first started going to chamber meetings, you know, you don't know anyone, you're a little nervous, but I can promise everybody that this chamber is by far so welcoming. And just come as you are. You know, you don't have to dress in a suit. You know, we have our people, our laborers from air conditioning, you know, they come ready to go to work. Laura, you know, comes ready to go to work. So just come see us on Tuesday mornings. But, you know, you talked about the fact that you had a very successful year. And so what would you say to other people, and maybe people who are first starting off in business who are nervous to go, and you know, some people are just naturally shy. And what would you say to help break those barriers and bring them in?
Well, one thing I will say is you have to remember, everybody that is attending the chamber was a brand new chamber member at one point, and they had to get up for the very first time and announce themselves, not have an elevator pitch ready, and they went through the same exact thing that you did. So you have to break the ice one way or the other. So you might as well just think that you're not the first person to be a new member of the chamber. So everybody that's there is not sitting there judging you. They're sitting there wanting to learn about you, not only about you, but about your business, what your business stands for, and what you can offer the community. Because like they were saying, the chamber is a downtown for the towns that don't have downtowns, but also it's a place where you don't only learn about other people's businesses, but you learn about the other people that are doing what you do, and that's being a business owner in your community. So it is a community, not only a downtown.
And you make a great point, and Laura, you've been there way longer than I have. We know that there are businesses that do the same business coming, but even with that said, there's a camaraderie. There's not a competitiveness. I mean, because what may be, let's just take real estate agents, right? And we're actually looking at having a Q&A panel in January with real estate agents, brokers, home inspection, because there's so many questions, especially right now with the market being crazy and people wanting to ask questions. And these realtors work together because one might specialize in something that another one doesn't. They talked about this Tuesday. I was listening to a group of them go, I do homes, but he does business and he does rentals, and that's not what I do. So there's always a chance to build a relationship. It's not about being competitive. And if anything this year's taught us, let's say the dreaded 2020, is that we have got to support each other. And we know that especially in West Volusia, I don't have exact numbers, but I would say at least 90% of the businesses are mom, pop, one owner places. And we want to support those businesses. We want to see continued growth. And you and I have talked about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're blessed to have almost every resource that we need to sustain life on the west side of this county. There's almost nothing that we have to go over the bridge or across the county for. We can get almost, and if it isn't here, we can order it from Amazon, right? Amazon came to Deltona, so ta-da! But point being that if you don't know what's out there, you don't know that it's right in your backyard, and you may not have to travel far and wide. So that's been, for me, that has been probably the most rewarding part of being a part of the chamber, is like Kayla was saying, getting to know the people, but then getting to realize how many actual services and products are available to us right here. So if we can support our neighbors who are paying a house payment, who are putting their kids through school, who are supporting the dance studio up the street, or the karate dojo up the street, or the ball fields, at the park. If we as a community can be supporting our fellow neighbors and citizens of our part of the county, we're saving driving everywhere for everything. We're saving time. We're spending more time home with our families because we realize that what we needed was right here, and there's somebody that we know that's got it.
I just had this conversation with a lady who called me this, I think it was Monday, and she lives out by Metro Orlando, out by Universal. And she called me, and I saw the 407 number, but she wanted information on Deltona, actually, and what was going on here, and were there services, and were there things nearby. She has an adult son that has some medical issues, and she's like, I just can't handle this traffic and everything over here anymore. And it's almost like I don't want to let the cat out of the bag,
right?
Because I was born and raised in Lake Mary, but I've been here 20 years.
Yep.
I don't know that I could get paid enough to go back across that bridge, because people don't understand, and you just hit on it. Time with family. By the time we finish here, it takes us, 10 to 20 minutes a lot of times to get home. Whereas if I was going that far away, it would take 2 hours. And so I told her, I said, there's plenty going on in Deltona. And I explained that there's always events and there's every company you could need. She worried about healthcare. I said, we have some of the top healthcare providers here.
Yes.
And so, it's a great place to live. So I just, tried to invite her to come on over. And I said, come to one of our chamber meetings. We'll take you and show you some things. I said I have plenty of people. But I get those calls a lot. And I love that you hit on that because it is true. We've become a very self-sustained community, but growing day in and day out. And
I've often said that our part of town is made of the people of the salt of the earth. These are people who weren't looking to be stacked on top of each other. These are people who are coming from far and wide. So many of us come from somewhere else that end up in Florida. But we aren't looking for that fast pace. We're looking for having access to the fast pace when we want. I mean, where we live strategically is dynamite. Halfway between Daytona and Orlando. Does it get any better? We got the beach 25 miles away, and we got Orlando 25 miles away.
I tell people we're truly Central Florida.
Right here on the I-4 corridor. The resources that we do have, and then if there is something outside of that, we can get to it readily. So, yeah, it is a great place, and Deltona has grown. Deltona is like a bunch of spaghetti noodle streets that, make no rhyme or reason, and don't assume that taking you a left will get you back around to the left and the left again.
Google, so you're good.
Yeah, bring Google Maps, bring that smartphone or stop and buy a map. But it's the uniqueness of that makes it fun. All right, if you can't handle driving in Deltona, then maybe you don't get to live in Deltona.
Yeah, and
kind of cool, huh?
And Deltona just had their 25th anniversary. It's actually January, technically. And it was really neat because a lady sent me some of the original housing prices. I mean, I don't know.
Oh my.
Whenever the very first neighborhood I went in, her father moved in, and she sent it to us, and I was like, oh my goodness. And houses for $10,000, and there was aerial photos from when it started, and then 10 years later, I'm like, my God, if you imagine the aerial photo now. So in talking to this lady that called me from Orlando, and she said, my girlfriend said it's a bedroom community. So I explained to her why. I said, but I said, yeah, it's an amazing area. But
earlier in the year, they were starting with the 25th anniversary events. And one of the ones that I went to, forgive me, I don't remember which one it was, but all of the city council members and the mayors and the vice mayors, that's one thing that is really cool to me, being able to meet all of your local government. But at that specific event, they actually had City Hall in a box. So Deltona they didn't have a City Hall building. They had City Hall in a box, and the mayor would go around with the City Hall in a box, and whatever he needed to do, everything was in that box. So City Hall could be at his house. It could be at a convenience store. Wherever he needed to be, that's where City Hall was.
So in talking about all this, I mean, this is how this chamber is so unique and special. And, the people who put it together and how it's grown. And this year, like I said, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. And we're going to have our installation banquet / 10-year anniversary. It's going to be in January, and it's going to be at the DeBary Golf and Country Club. And, growing is very important with the chamber because we want to keep more businesses coming in, being able to support more businesses. And we've been very blessed that we have, several big sponsors who help us. We put on a Valor Awards each year, which recognizes our first responders, and we're so excited this is going to happen again in May. We're starting to send out nomination papers for that, and we said that this will be a really hard nomination year because, let's face it, all the first responders put their lives on the line this year, so it's going to be a really hard process to go through. With that said, talking about sponsorships, I just want to mention that we talked about big companies, and there are a few in this area, and so we're blessed to have like Advent Health, Space Coast Credit Union, Duke Energy, Halifax Health, Simplicity Solutions, Central Florida Home Pros, Multicare Physicians, GC Traffic, and our most recent one is the Orlando Predators. So in saying that, it's not just about throwing names out there, it's to tell you that even though we have a small town feel, we have big companies backing this chamber, and it's amazing. Do you want to say anything on that?
You want me to tell you how proud I am of us and our business community, and having been a part of getting everything going in a forward momentum all those years ago. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. There was a lot of heart and soul. There was a lot of work, and we, like you said, the relationships. The people that you got to grow and blossom in front of. You know, I've watched you grow up in front of all of us. So it has been very rewarding being a part of it and getting to know people. And for my business, we were an exclusive plumbing contractor for one of the builders that developed a lot of Deltona.
Wow.
Since 1994. We had the exclusive contract here
So you've seen it grow.
in Volusia County. Watched it grow. We've helped build thousands of houses in this community, thousands of houses. And I am proud to say that we've been a part of the community. I lived in Deltona back in the 90s when Mayor Masarczyk was first mayor, when it was first incorporated. I'll never forget him. I lived on Urbana Avenue, and we had a problem with flooding. The peak of the street was high, and it turned out we bought this cute little 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage house, my ex-husband and I, and it turned out that our yard was one of the lowest yards on the street. And so everything drained into our backyard. And so we got some storms through those early years of the 90s, and our backyard was flooded all the way up to the house. Septic wouldn't work, nothing. And the mayor came out. Mayor came out and saw what was going on. Well, then I ended up moving out of Deltona, and I've since moved back. In 2013, I moved back, but I wasn't afraid to move back to Deltona. I knew that it was up and coming. Even still, there was still so much room for development, so much room for opportunity, and the fact that you get a good bang for your buck on buying a home in Deltona. You know, and the good part too is, as a business person, as a community member, as a part of the chamber for all of these years, I know that each one of these communities, each of these neighboring communities, you know, each city brings its own gift or talent or something to the table. So we all are here working together with the chamber, which always made me so proud. So I was living in Deltona, my business is in Orange City, so I always felt like nobody could take anything from me because I had a little piece of each. And that was always what our hope was for the chamber too, was that it could be a representative for all of these towns and cities on this side of the county collectively, because the more of us there are, the bigger our voice and the more of a difference we can make if we need to. And when we as business people put our minds to something and we put our heads together, we can think very rationally and very practically and very frugally. So we helped figure out ways to get things done and give guidance, direction, and mentoring at many different levels. So we became a wellspring of knowledge and insight even for some of our community's leadership. So we all took a lot of pride in we were looked to on a number of occasions as a resource for, well, you know, there's been quite a few of those people that have been around town for a while. Let's see what they all have to say. And I learned a long time ago that there were an awful lot of very, very successful people that have helped build West Volusia since long before I was born. And a lot of those folks are to this day still very successful, and they had a huge hand in the strategic planning that helped make these towns grow into what they were, with the thoughts, the process, and the strategic layout of how things got done. So I've been grateful to be a part of that group of people who have linked together and become a resource. So we always hope that we can be, as a chamber, that we can be seen as a resource for many different people, whether it be someone who's looking to relocate from the hubbub of a bigger city, or whether it be somebody that's looking because they need to find a doctor that's compatible with what their needs are, or somebody that's moving in from another state, which I anticipate we're probably going to see quite a bit of that. Now winter's coming, we get an influx every year.
Of snowbirds, absolutely. We're known for that.
Yep. So it's nice to be a part of helping them make decisions, whether this is the right part of Florida for them to move to, or whether Florida's the right place for them. I'm proud of what we do. I'm proud
of it too. I'm proud to be a part of it, proud to be a part of the chamber. And you know, I'm going to just say, to kind of wrap things up, that if you're interested in joining the chamber, just come out, see us on a Tuesday morning at 7:30, Gateway Center for the Arts in DeBary, Florida, and see if it's something you would enjoy. I mean, we just want to help promote businesses. We want you to be successful. We want this area to grow and be successful. So it's very affordable. It's your least expensive way of advertising, getting to qualified leads, getting to know other professionals. Just check us out. Go to our website. We'd love to talk to you. And
I'd like to add to that if you want to be a part of your community, truly be a part of your community, the best way to do that is get involved with the chamber and get involved with all the things that are happening. And the chamber is the best way to find that out. And I am really glad to see how many people from the chamber this year pitched in to help with Toys for Tots, especially because this year has been so hard. It's helping people is my biggest passion, and that's why I do what I do. And just being able to see all of the people that help me grow my business are just helping everybody, whether it's helping people's businesses or just truly helping them on a personal level.
And just to throw in, Kayla has been one of the leaders, along with Alan Thompson, one of our other members, for Toys for Tots this year for Volusia County.
And I can't forget to add Taryn Corcus-Nix, because she is the mastermind of it all.
And so it's things like this. It's not just all about business for us. We're also about service. And, some people forget that, between Valor, between helping with Toys for Tots, you've done charity motorcycle rides. I mean, numerous things. So it's about, like she said, helping our community. It's not just about helping yourself or your business. I will promise you it's one of the most rewarding things you'll ever do. So with that, I want to thank you so much, Laura, and thank you so much, Kayla, for coming out. And we're looking so forward to seeing you guys again soon. And come see us Tuesday mornings. I'm Sherry DeCrenza, Laura Engstrom.
Kayla Ferriero.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.